What's up? Oh, snap. A little impromptu surprise interview here with my boy. Get to hang out. It's been a minute. It's been too long, actually. I yelled at him, just so you know, and said that he never again will it happen where we don't see each other for like a damn year. All right.
Wasn't a year, but I hear you.
It's close, man. I don't know. When was the last time we saw each other in person?
Oh, in person? No,
It's been
in
over a
person
year.
it's been a while. Yeah.
All right. And then side part, it's been too long even on here. I did get to see you yesterday though, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me see if this is how I do it. There we go. Nice. Done. All right. So I'm trying to do something. It's not working. So let me do this. Mr. Adam Latin, the clearest you. Mr. Adam on the move. All right. I just gave him that nickname no more than an hour ago. I felt like Happy Gilmore there. Happy accomplished that feat no more than an hour ago. But Adam, I know you and I love you. But tell everybody who Adam Latin is a little bit and what business you have. What do you do?
So I'm Adam Latin. My business is the clearest you. And so the clearest you has a few different parts. But the general idea is I help people articulate and express who they are in the hopes that they build better and stronger connections with themselves and others. I really like helping people who have experienced a certain amount of trauma or are really people pleasers who need support rather than in stopping to like so many people are like, I just have to have better boundaries if I'm a people pleaser. I don't think it's about better boundaries. I think it's sometimes just about choosing better people. And so I really focus on helping people who are looking to feel more connected. They may be struggling with feeling lonely or disconnected. They may be feeling with dealing with other personal challenges, not feeling heard, not feeling appreciated. One of my biggest, as you know, is not feeling cherished. And I believe that we need to teach people how to cherish us. Most people don't realize that in holding our boundaries so strong, we also prevent people from knowing how to support and celebrate us. And so a lot of what I do is helping people learn not to necessarily share with everyone, but with enough people that they get the support they really deserve. And so I'm really big on just helping people find their personal power, especially when someone else previously took their power from them.
Love that.
I believe that as a wound happens, is the same way it should be healed. So if someone did something to us, if someone spoke to us frequently with a lot of negativity, we need someone to speak positivity into us.
Dope.
I like that. So it's really big on, I know that we're in this world of just rely on yourself and, you can do anything and maybe you can do any one thing, but it doesn't mean you can do everything. And so a big thing for me is creating community and engaging with people that are capable of supporting us accurately. Ooh. And so I really like helping people gain a different perspective, find those people that can celebrate them, that can connect with them, that can do all these things. I love it. I love seeing people succeed. And I love people seeing succeed going from people that thought life took effort to recognizing life can be experienced with ease.
Dude, I like that. First, we got to give a big shout out all the people that are jumping in saying what's up. Jeff Purdue Atkins in the house just dropped boom. So I think when I think of him anyway, boom. Allegra's in the house. Judy's in the house. People dropping blue and green. I love it. Love seeing everyone come by and say hello. Check it out. I'm definitely drop your comments in the section. We'll gladly put them up on the screen if we see them come across, and share your input as well. Dude, I love what you were saying there. I think one, community is key. I think the right community is fertilizer, growth for goals, for who we want to be, for who we want to become. I think that's huge. I don't think that could be. I don't think we could state that in a way that would really bring the significance to it. I'm not one of those ones that's like, if you show me 4 broke ones, I'll show you the 5th. Like, that's not really my thing, right?
Yep.
But I do believe your circle, your community can be fertilizer for you. And they can push you and help you and make you grow in such a way, right, that can make you achieve things so much faster.
I'm a firm believer in we don't know what we don't know. And as you know, I being part of the Unleashed has really helped me so much. I would never have been able to find my wife without the Unleash. Like, she's really been an amazing part of my life, but there's no way I would have even really seriously considered the idea of moving out of the country if not from a member that mentioned, oh, I live in Colombia and do work virtually. And so it inspired me to leave. And I left, and everybody that knew I was leaving was super supportive. When I came in after having made the leap to the first movement maker a couple of years ago, it was amazing the amount of support you guys gave me. Right. And so it's been overwhelming. It's been a lot creating a family. So I sometimes get distracted and forget.
I don't know. I don't think so at all. And also, I mean, no longer, sure, I'll agree with everything you said. There was great support for you, but also you were the caliber of person that earned and deserved that kind of support, right? I think that's important as well. All right. I think the caliber of man you were and how you supported everyone in the community made it where it was easy to support you in return because of the support you gave and the love you gave and how you poured into people. And I remember Mexico, when we were in Mexico together at one of the retreats, right? And I remember you being so powerful at this that you literally had a couple crying saying that you saved their marriage, right? In in an hour window, right? Right. Jessica's in the house, by the way. Talk about abroad, England in the house. Peaky herself, proper good. But seeing the people, and I mean, you talked about your expending or taking the trip, finding love, finding your wife, right? I love seeing us all grow in the areas in which we focus on, and then saying that if we focus in those areas with the support team, we can go achieve things. But also, like you talk about communication, being able to communicate that, being able to have clarity in that, right? You like the clearest you. I love that name, right? Because clarity is so key, right? And how you can help people find clarity and find it so quickly and so deeply is a true skill. And what do you think are some of the things that go into being able to figure out what you truly want, articulate it, and bring people to be able to see it for themselves and go get it?
Well, like I said, I think we need sometimes an objective third party. We need to be able to recognize what people that love us may be. They're supporting us within their limits, but they may be too focused on what they want for us than really looking at and being able to hear and be present for what we want for ourselves. Whereas someone you just met or someone that's kind of an objective third party may be able to really kind of cut through and ask you the right question. Get you to understand, well, what are you really excited to create, because I can hear someone talk about something. And when I hear them talk about it, I can feel whether or not it's authentically what they were taught or what they really, you just hear it. Like, I'm sure, you hear when you hear someone speak, oh, I'm good at this, or this is my inspiration, this is my passion. Being good at something
Right.
isn't really enough.
Ooh.
And again,
Okay.
I feel like you have to remember everyone has a different well in terms of how much information they can receive or not. So when we're sharing information with other people, oh, it's okay. We're sharing information with other people. Um, we have to be able to speak their language. Like I really believe we can change how we present information, but we can't change how we receive information.
Ooh.
And so learning how someone else receives information is something I have a tremendously powerful skill in. I can really very quickly assess how someone receives something, how much I can pour into their well before they can't receive anymore. And so knowing what someone's receiving limit is very different. And so I just have proper skills. Like, I know that's what motivates people just very naturally, because I've engaged with that idea for at least 2 decades now. Like, I can really hear and understand. And then, lately I've been working very strongly with couples and families. Our new era with families, especially where I am in Connecticut, because of the fact that technology has become so prevalent, most kids are now developing own independent thoughts and values at around 8 or 9 years old. Whereas before, families had until their teens to be able to offer a lot of support. So them becoming more dependent earlier creates a lot more conflict, because families are still expecting their children to listen and obey, instead of, you really need to negotiate and support more than listen and obey, even at a younger age. And so that's created a lot more conflict. Kids are trying to create independence a lot earlier. And so learning communication skills that they never had to have and they never received is a challenge. Because, I know a lot of parents that are dealing with kids that are in their 10, 12, 14 years of age that talk about their children's phone or tablet as the enemy. And they don't even realize they're talking about their technology as an enemy. And so I work with a whole family unit where everyone can start working together. Everyone can start working together. And it's a big thing that we now have the ability, rather than what used to happen is, if there was, let's say there was a family of 5 or 6 people, it would be the child that was labeled the problem child and the 2 parents that would be doing some sort of therapy or counseling, and everyone would kind of be left out, or it would be smaller groups. Now you can do like a group of a lot of people to create activity, experience, and connection, and really talking about all that. And so I have the ability to speak to each individual person in their language and teach the other people to speak to those people in that language, if they're willing and able to learn, because sadly not everyone is.
Right. 100%. I get that. Now, let me ask you a question, right? It was said numerous times, right, that through technology, we're able to be closer but further apart, right? Like less deeper connection with more opportunity to connect.
Yeah.
Right. That has been said. Now, I mean, truth of that or not, who knows, right? I don't think
Right.
this comment had nothing to do with what I'm just saying. And so using technology, how can we connect still at deeper levels and form those deeper connections that we truly want, those relationships that we truly want, where we feel understood at depth, right? How can we do that?
So I think it's about
communication?
choosing the right people, because now I think that now we have a smorgasbord or a buffet of individuals we can connect with. So we need to be able to choose faster who's actively more relatable. We have to monitor our time to who we're connecting with. You know, I think the biggest piece is saying, okay, am I sure that this person is relatable to me? If not, I have to go and connect to someone else. But once we've found people and it's perceptive enough or have a certain level of commonality, for me, connection requires perception. I want to be able to discuss things with people where they're of a higher mind. But I know other people are the opposite. They want people to be quiet with. You have to know what type of connection you really want. And so say to someone, hey, this is how I connect. Can you connect with me? Okay. Because with me specifically, like, I'm a kind of let's dig in really fast sort of thing. Like, I don't do any surface level stuff. I want to dig into someone if they'll let me.
All right, now let me ask you a question. Yeah, definitely. I hate small talk. I didn't make the meme. I shared a meme about small talk and what it feels like, and it's just like skeletons standing around. Feels like death. All right. I can't stand it much. Drives me crazy. Don't want to be a part of it very long. Normally, people think I'm rude because I'm like, all right, yeah, stop talking about this. I'll just randomly walk away, and I'm out. Okay, nice. Look at that. Agreed. People agree. Let's go. So let me ask you a question. If someone doesn't know, if someone doesn't know how they connect, right? Like how do they resonate with someone at deeper levels? How to get to that point, right? Like, it's about going in deep quickly, right? Like that's how you connect with someone, right? Like how does someone figure out the way that it ticks for them?
I would say that they should look at where they're breathing easier, where they feel like so one of the things I talk about is sharing information versus convincing. When someone is sharing information, there's an ease to it. It doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like effort. If whatever you're doing feels like effort, then it's not the way you're actually really trying to connect with someone. When there's force involved, you're not really connecting on your way, your method. You may be connecting the way the other person is. But it's about thinking about when I have moments where I feel like present and excited to be present with someone, whatever that is. Like, I know some people that fish, I know some people that play sports, I know some people that do all sorts of things that are not my way to connect, but are theirs. Activity can be a really strong way. Learning, taking classes can be a really strong way that they connect with other people. It just has to be whatever you're drawn to. Art is another direction. But it's about realizing if you're putting effort into it, then it may be a way you're exploring and you're discovering. But if it really feels like true effort, you have to try something else. And it really is about discovery and exploration. Like, so many of us, we reach a certain age and we feel like we're supposed to have the answers. So we don't engage in discovery and exploration anymore. We don't like explore. We're not excited to discover. We kind of work within what we know. And so I like playing with the energies of discovery and exploration.
Right. I love that. One of the biggest things when people always come to me, because I talk about like when I found purpose, my life changed.
Yep.
Right. Like when I found things like that gave me fulfillment, right. And like true joy, like my life changed and how I was changed, the person I was changed, right. Like all that changed because I found purpose. And
Yep.
with that was passion, right.
Right.
What up, Trey? Robert's in the house too. Trey, Jesse, what up? You guys all joined when he was talking. Definitely, comments will be shared. Love to give shout outs. Love to show who's listening. I think so. When I found that, right, who I was as a person changed. I started growing. I started thinking, at least in my opinion, I started becoming a better person, right, a better man. I still got a lot of work to do, but I started the process of like the growth in that area, like personal growth.
Yep.
Right. Because I wanted to be able to do this I wanted to be able to do my thing at a higher level and help people at a high level because that was passion and purpose in my life. Right. And when people are like, yeah, but you have yours. And I'm like, well, yeah, I have mine, but I have mine because I tried stuff. Right. Like it wasn't because I didn't try anything and found it. It wasn't like a brick hit me in the head and it was like, boom, you're supposed to do this. If you ever said speaking in front of a room, right? It would be something that I would enjoy. I would probably have kicked you in your privates, right? Like, what? Like, I would never want to speak in front of a room. I remember in school, like getting picked to read from the room. I'd rather get kicked out of the class, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know how many times I got detention because they were like, Mike, read this. And I was like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. Right. Like, so I'm going to be like FDFF everything until I get kicked out of this class. All right. And until I did it. And then it was like, whoa, like this is crazy. Right. Like this actually was awesome. And it wasn't even doing it that was awesome. Right. And not the private though. It wasn't even when I did it was awesome. It was when I did it, I was like, I still hate this. It was after it's someone coming up to me saying what it did to their life, saying the impact it had on, where I was like, oh my God, like I love impact. Right. Like I love having an impact and having people have an impact on me, being in the situation where impact can happen because that leads to transformation. And that's what purpose did for my life. It changed it, it transformed my life. And I would never have known that if I didn't try things. Right. And sometimes things I thought I hated and some things that were like against my will. Right. So like the first time I spoke, that was against my will. I didn't want to do that. Right. So when I love how you said that about trying things will show us windows into things that will then add to our life and change our life. That's the only way we figure it out. Is by curiosity and exploring ourselves.
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Yeah.
But he left in the middle of an interview. Didn't even mute himself. That's what I'm talking about. All right, let's talk some people. Jesse says, Michael Faber, hearing you talk about the fire and the way y'all bust and worked after me to you. And then from there, it was just as grown. Heck yeah. And just same thing with you, hearing your story and seeing who you were and seeing what drove you and that you cared that way. That's what changes the game. And Adam, just so you know, I did mute you so you can unmute yourself. But
thank you.
You're welcome. The idea is when you're willing to explore and when you're willing to connect, it's like relationships. Listen, the first time me and Adam talked on Facebook, I was like, does this guy not like me? Does he like me? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then I was like, I don't know about this guy. And typically, Adam, we let do something that we let very few people ever do. And it was join our mastermind before we connected in person. Right? Because he was like, no, I want to do this. And I'm like, well, I mean, you don't know. He's like, don't tell me what I know. I know. I'm like, well, all right, that makes sense. All right. Like, so, okay. Yeah. All right. Let's try it. All right. And then when I met Adam, Adam said one of the most unique things to me he was like, most people don't know their blind spots, and you're really not good at anything, but you really connect people well. And I was like, I don't know if I would have said it that way, but thank you. Right. Like kind of thing. And then seeing Adam do his thing in Mexico was the first time I saw him speak in front of a room. And it was like mind blowing. Right. It was like my jaw dropped. Right. Just seeing him, little things he's catching and saying to people, and how their response to was it. And it was like, whoa, and we're in Cancun, Mexico, 40 people in a room. People were getting rum runners at like 7 a.m. I don't know how many people were taking it serious. Adam started talking, and everybody in the room was quiet and just listening. All right. And it was just like, wow, like the way he took over a room. And that led to, like Adam's one of my dudes. Like I love Adam. Adam on the move, man. That's one of my dudes.
Yeah.
And the story, like literally the dude was like, you know what? I'm going to move to Peru. I just feel called to move to Peru to start another chapter of my life and see what it brings. And then like 3 months later, he's like, I met someone. And we're like, geez, cool, bro. And then a couple months after that, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get married. Like, what? Like, what? Look at you, bro. Like that he was so intentional about it. If he never did that, who knows? Right. So just to see you live what you preach about, like going all in the area in which you're focused in, right? That you want, that you desire that much. And that's how you find these things. Like your life speaks that that's the truth. All right. And that inspires me to do it more. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I mean, but you can only do it if you have a support system. Like that's the thing that I always come back to is like, I do very little by myself because it doesn't work for me when I'm isolated. Like when I do that, I make the mistake of, it's like I steal my own power. For me, like working with the Unleash, connecting with you guys. I mean, I will say I knew I wanted to belong. Like I knew I wanted to be part of the community. But when I was down there, I was like super nervous until Alex pulled me aside. And if people don't know Alex McClure, you definitely need to. He is an amazing dude. He's subtle. So he's not like, I'm in your face. Like once I'm comfortable around people, I get in people's faces. He doesn't get in people's faces. But he's got a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, a lot of good things that he offers. He's an amazing, amazing human. Like everyone that I've engaged with has skills. I've belonged to groups over the last 20 years that I've been doing my work. So I know different groups. But the truth is that very few groups has selectors as effective as the Unleashed. A lot of them there's like a core group of valuable people and everyone else is kind of fluff. With the Unleashed, there is almost no fluff, if any. There's like none. Like everyone I've engaged with, the people that I've met through the group, the people that keep on coming in, the new people that keep on being drawn in, it's just amazing. Like the dynamicness of it is just unbelievably profound to me. And yeah, I knew there are certain things where, because I'm an intuitive, I'm told certain things. So I'm like, yes, I need to just be a part of it. Sign me up. Let me know what I can do. This is what I can make happen. This is what I want to explore. This is how I want to engage. Immediately, I was 100% sure. There was no doubt in my mind of the value of this group, and I've been proven right completely ever since. And that's the thing.
All right, but I love what you said there. It's like one of the big things that a lot of communities do is like they'll have the leader, right? And then it's like everyone follow, right? And it's one of the things I love about us is that's not the way we're set up.
Right.
Right. Like we have leaders in spaces that people go to for that space. Right. And it's like rather than this one guy knows it all, right? Which is complete BS. And we all know that now. When we were younger, we were made to believe, right? That it was
Right.
like one person's going to grab a shield and forge the fire for us all, right? And it's like, right? And then we were like, all right, where's this one person, right? And no one can live up to that,
Right.
right? And it's but with Unleash You now, right? The people of it, like yourself, that have their area of expertise and own that and are willing to be like, this is my area, right? Like if someone comes to me and they're like, Mike, work with me on my relationship, I'm gonna be like, bet. This is Adam Latin, right? He's gonna work with you in your relationships, right? Like, because I'm trying to figure out my own, brother. Like I go to him. So rather than me pretend and just copy what Adam tells me and then I'll tell you, I'm just gonna send it to him. We're gonna save a whole bunch of time. Right. It's like the drama of your life. I'm going to send them to Jeff, mental health, or like you figuring out your own self. I'm going to send to Jessica, right? Like it's all, you're a service-based person that wants to build a business, but also have the life and family they want. I'm going to send you to Doug Ferrier, who just joined in, right? Like we're going to do this. Like, you want to talk about Zumba or crystals, and I'm going to send you to Allegra, right? Like we all have our areas, and it's like everyone just takes that area and they're like, this is cool, this is like my thing. And anytime that area is brought up, we all tag that person in and we just lean back. And few communities can be like that. And I don't know why that is. More should be like that, in my opinion.
Well, you know that most people live in a place of both competition and fear of scarcity.
Like, now, how do you overcome something like that?
I think you don't. I think you accept that it exists and you just find where it doesn't exist. I think that part of the challenge is we have to believe certain things are not changeable, especially if they're external to us. That if we, like, it depends. If it was someone's individual path to fight that battle, that's different. Like there are some people, my uncle was an environmental law professor. His battle was the environment. My battle's not the environment. So if I try and fight that battle, then I'm not owning my identity. I'm not in my clearest identity. I'm trying to do things that are tangential to who I really am. So I'm wasting a lot of my resources. So I think what it comes down to is accepting where, there are certain things that have tremendous wisdom to me, but one of the strongest pieces of wisdom is that you go back to that serenity prayer. You have the wisdom, what is it? You have the wisdom to accept the things you can't change. No, it's crap. My brain, you know it, Michael. I'm getting completely lost.
Right. The serenity, accept the things we cannot change. The courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference, brother.
Right, and say
that thing all the time.
That is but it's so profound in different ways because it helps us acknowledge that there are things we can't change. What was that last comment?
Now, that was from Jessica. But my question for you is, it's still kind of on the same thing, right? But we know we can't change it outside, so we find communities that are like that, and there's a bunch of them.
Right.
We all know. We've all been in some of them. Right. But how do we do that for ourselves? Like, how do we make it where we're not scarcity, where we're not just competition mode?
So, again, it's about finding, in my opinion, it's about finding the right community. It's about trying to look at where we are good, and as much and as often as we can, releasing where we're not good for someone else. Because when we're really doing what we love, there is such joy to it. There's not room for that fear, scarcity, and competition. Like, me, I'll go to some of our events and I'll love the fact that I have the opportunity to sit there and talk to someone and be able to kind of enjoy offering and dropping that bomb that just blows up whatever's blocking their life. But it's about finding the right community. It's about really asking yourself, like, am I operating accurately? Because I think what it is if we're chasing too much of the wrong things, that's when we get into competition and fear. If we're engaged in something that inspires us, we're usually focused on what we're being inspired by. And so we don't use descriptive words anymore. And it's one of the things that I'm trying to bring back in people. Yeah, work in your own zone of genius. Exactly. That's perfect. It's like when you're working in your own zone of genius, you're so excited about the work you're doing, you're not competing. Or at least hopefully you're not. And again, some people need competition. That's actually how they motivate and they grow. But for me, that doesn't work. I'm not motivated by being better than other people. I'm motivated by feeling like I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm offering people an opportunity. And I think that we try too hard to be a result as well, and all we can be is an opportunity. Like the Unleash is a phenomenal opportunity. It can't be a result without the participation of the individual person.
Facts upon racks, brother. That's what I always say. Like, do not give me credit for any result. That is your work.
Well, right? I don't necessarily know that I agree with that. I think that you should be sharing in more credit.
Yeah.
And we have had this discussion multiple times.
I know.
But again, would I have had the inspiration to move to Peru without you inviting the people into the group that you invited into the group? Like, part of the challenge is that, are we going to give Michael 100% of the credit for all of it? Maybe not. But he needs to be able to acknowledge more the benefit that he offers in creating the environment. Like, you are just phenomenal at creating the environment. You have such ability to find and sort of thread through people. Like that's the thing, is that you just like, you have good wisdom yourself, but honestly, it's the whole of the community who you release knowing they're not right for the community, who you invite believing they are right for the community. These are things that are so core to why the Unleashed is such a powerhouse of a group. Is the clarity around, well, someone doesn't belong here, I can't have them here because it's too disruptive, so they're just not going to be allowed anymore. Instead of like, well, it's a butt in the seat, so I should just put up with the bullshit. And there are a lot of people that operate from that place. And so it's really nice to find a community that doesn't do that. Just so many of the people that I've had the opportunity to connect to help me expand, to get me thinking about different things, even if I don't use the information immediately, because I have this process where I receive the information, I'm in resistance, I continue processing the information, and then finally I act on it. But it's a whole process for me that is super annoying to most people, and they usually quit on me before you actually have. So, I appreciate it.
One thing about me, I don't quit. I have a hard time quitting. All right. I'll stop some things, but quitting isn't really my thing. And you never gave me a reason to quit. And you're damn right, I'll take an empty seat over some giddy butt in that seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Because things, I think one of the things that I get misjudged a lot on is that people think I am competitive based. right? Like a lot of people think because of my sports history, because I played sports a lot, because I still play games, right, and do different things of that nature, they think I'm super competitive. And there are areas of my life where if we're competing in a game, I'm competing, right? But where
Oh
it
yeah.
changes in this, right? This isn't a game.
Right.
So a lot of people view me still in that same I'm competing light, but it's like I'm going for this ultimate goal that I have that has nothing to do with any of you, right?
Right.
Like my ultimate goal is end suicide and self-injurious behavior. That's my ultimate goal. So I'm going for that. Whatever you're doing here means nothing to me because that's not the grand scheme of it. That's not what I'm doing it for. So I think one of the biggest misjudges about me in the space is that competitive nature is in this. And I'm like, I'm just having fun talking noise here because this is really about something much bigger than if I can beat you or not at this. And I don't know how we judge who beats who every day at whatever, right? Like unless there's a scoreboard and something that I can, or an ending where it means you won a finish line. I never know how we do that, right? So when I play cornhole or basketball or any of the games I still play, right, that us the people that are losing any athletic ability whatsoever, like myself, the games that I can still contribute in, all right, sure, I'm competitive to get the score before the other people get the score because that's how you win the game. In this game, it's infinite, right? So there is no finite ending. And I think some people miss that. And that's like why I could be like, you shouldn't talk to me or pay me. You should pay Adam, right? Or any of the other people in our group for that result is because I know you'll get that result for them faster.
Yep.
And better. And if my end goal is end suicide, self-injurious behavior, I know if you do that faster and better, we're more likely to achieve that.
Right.
Right. So then literally when I sit back, I'm winning because I'm getting what I really, truly want. Right. The problem is when I don't know anything about events, but I'll become the event coach because you'll pay me. Right. Or I don't know anything about, this business, but if you pay me, I'll pretend like I do. Right. Rather than just staying in earlier, like you said, your area of genius, what you're really good at, right? What you really truly know, what you have mastered by putting in the hours, right? And putting in the reps and doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Rather than staying in that lane, I'll do whatever lane I can get in because I just need the money. And that's where the problem comes in. All right. So the thing with us is we never have to worry about that because to me, I'm not going after that. I'm going after the impact to get the result for you to have a better life and then impact the people you're meant to impact and help their life.
And that is
I'm
such
not meant to.
a great thing because I definitely have found it to be true that with people that I have supported and guided in different ways, they go on to support and guide others with the information that we talk about.
100% facts. Making an impact and changing lives is what's important. 100%, Mary.
Yeah.
Right.
And typically when you impact one person, you're always impacting a tremendous line of people because that person is free. They're focused and they're released enough to be able to be generous and kind in ways that they weren't before.
All right. And now they're free to go impact the way they're meant to impact and who they're meant to impact, which might not be the same people as you.
Definitely. Right? Most likely
and,
are not the same people. Yeah.
Right. And I even go deeper in this, right? Like, Adam, me and you haven't worked much on your business. Right? Like we don't talk much about your business. We don't work on your business much. Right. And you've been on UnleashU now 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. And even though a lot of people come to us because we help entrepreneurs, empowering entrepreneurs grow their business, right? But what happens is people stay even if they don't work on that or focus in that area with us because of the community and being part of it and connecting to it grows the supporters of it. This is huge.
And it's not true that we haven't worked on my business. We have a little bit.
Right, a little bit.
That I haven't invested as well as I could have with the information that I have. I've still gained tremendous libraries of knowledge. I just haven't necessarily put everything to use that we've talked about. But
that wasn't our focus. Your focus was creating your family and life.
Right.
Right. That was
Yeah,
your focus.
my focus is definitely building. It's going to be moving forward much more on my business because I really want to be able to provide my family with the resources that they deserve.
All right, this is a long one. There's so many fly-by-night specialists that will do anything to make money and not specializing in anything 100% and do more damage than good. I 100% agree with that. We need to
Yeah,
stop looking for the money and follow our path and what we are meant to do, and the money will follow. The money will come 100%. Money will come.
yeah,
So I love that, Mary. Also, Mary, love you being part of this conversation. Michael's in the same boat, right? Ken Must Will, love that. Judy says, I agree, right? And then Jessica came in with 100, many moving around, causing many more problems for the people they're working with. All right. And that's true. That's one of the things, like, people think I'm very combative, Adam, which is weird because I think you're actually more combative than me. But
oh, I'm way more combative than you. I'm a
right?
very combative person, but I'm combative because what wounded people is combativeness.
Right.
So as a result, I'm fighting for and with people
Right.
instead of against them as a way to heal them. I'm a very combative person.
Right. 100%. And
Completely. I don't consider you combative at all. I think, I've never really felt you disagree with anyone about anything. Like I've
I don't know
never
about
heard
that,
you.
but
Like, I mean, other than idiots, maybe maybe it's
thank
because
you. That's how I
maybe
feel.
it's because you're making sick, but like in general, I think that sometimes one of the things that I've really been able to own since working with you guys is that one of the things I love about my gift is I am a louder voice than the negative voices in people's heads. And that I'm combative
that
in
goes
that
right towards
way,
this comment.
You're combative towards yourself. No, I don't agree with that. The person who said that, I've never actually met them, but they need to actually call me and we can connect, because if they think they're combative with themselves, they're just combative with their programming, which is not actually themselves.
Facts.
So we can
now.
definitely work on that if that's something they're ready to do and interested in doing.
Oh yeah. And Adam Michael's one of the newest members in the mastermind too, so definitely connect with him.
Okay. Yeah, so I haven't been able to connect with him individually, so I'm easy to find on Facebook. Under Adam or the Clearest You, either one, you can message me. You can get my direct information from Michael as well. But I don't. This idea that we battle ourselves, I think, is ridiculous. I think we're just battling programming or not clear on our identities. But I don't think it's possible for us to battle our true selves. So that's just my philosophy. So
I like that.
It's just about really being sure and having clarity, and that's what I do.
I 100% agree with you. I love that idea that you're not fighting yourself, you're fighting your programming. I love that. Right?
Yeah.
Because that is so much that's true.
Right.
And when we break it down that way, it takes the guilt, the shame, the judgment from ourselves away and puts it towards, this is just a programming I'm dealing with and I just got to get it out. Right.
And it's much easier to cut off something that's attached to you than it is when you think like you're cutting off your own arm.
Right? It's not a piece of you. It's just there and we can take it out. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a piece of you. You're not removing it. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to keep my head on the comments.
Conditioning. Right. I got you.
So I want to, Judy said something that I want to mention to you. Having peace in our life. So I want to talk about this really quickly, if you'll still give me the time. So I totally know from Judy's energy, peace in her life is really important. So I'm not saying that about her, but I'm telling you, too many people push for peace. Some people actually, the only way to have healing and to really be authentically present in their life, to be accurate around their, and have clarity around their identity, is to actually be powerful. Because it's not healing for them to accept, it's only healing for them to be victorious. And so I especially work with people on finding techniques for releasing. And I know people that have chased creating a sense of peace for 30 years and are so exhausted and discouraged because they never find peace. And what I tell them is, well, are you sure peace is your resting point? If you're a creative force, if you're someone who, exactly, I am the sword, not the shield, as Jessica said. Some people need to be powerful and forceful and creative and inspirational and not, don't get me wrong, there are people that need peace, need tranquility. But we've somehow been taught that peace and tranquility are the only ways toward a successful life. And that often prevents certain types of people moving forward. And so, again, if you want clarity, if there are things you haven't achieved, it may be because, some people can find safety through being peaceful, through finding acceptance. But a lot of people, to have safety, to have balance, to have clarity, they need to be powerful. And changing from chasing peace to chasing healthy power, it just has had such profound impact on some of the clients I've worked with.
Right. Is there a way that you could have both and be both?
It
Right,
depends upon how you define peace.
All right.
For me, how I define peace, it's not really both. Because
Right.
I think of peace as a level of acceptance that often comes with like a resting. Some people can only find, well, actually, let me rephrase that. I think individually it's different. There are some people that walk a peace path. There are some people that walk a power path. And there actually may be some people that can straddle both equally.
Mm-hmm.
But I often find that someone is more on one edge than another.
Right.
I think most people that need power aren't going to be inspired by peace anyway. They're going to be inspired by joy, by celebration, by a level of expansiveness. So it wouldn't be something that they really intrinsically value. It's just their programming.
Mm.
Their programming that peace has value may be their thing.
Right.
That's my personal philosophy.
Right. So I go to something Nipsey Hussle said, right? I have a fascination with Nipsey Hussle. That dude is one of the most brilliant minds to ever come on this earth. Right. And he said a great quote of a book, and he said it went something like, would you rather be at peace with the world and at war with yourself, or at war with the world and at peace with yourself? Right. And I think there could be, then peace is actually recognized two different ways. And there's some people that take all the pain and struggle and battle without and just interiorizes, right? Puts it inside. And then they're at war with themselves and they think they're at peace out here. Right. And that's how they classify it. And then it's the other side of that is like, I'm at peace with me, even if that creates war out here for me.
Right.
Right. And I, after I heard that, I was just like, that point on, I was going to pick peace from within. And if that means war out here, that means war out here. Right.
Yeah.
Like that means if that but peace for me. And I think how I get peace, right. Is by, talking my talk, right? Like saying what I believe and stand on, saying things I think no surface, even though I know some people are going to be irritated by that and come at me for it. But that's where I find peace. And then I have my places of peace, that every once in a while I'll go to, right? Like I think my bed is a place of peace. It's supposed to be peaceful,
And
right?
I share you with places of peace. Like I definitely agree with that. I think it's important to have places of peace, but I don't. I guess for me, in terms of, I think of peace as defined as without conflict.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I find that being without conflict or without challenge is not certain people's paths.
Right. 100%.
And so that's kind of how I use it. I think of power as, when it's used in a healthy way, as being able to be comfortable and safe within conflict. That conflict doesn't disrupt you.
Right.
And I think that there are still things within, you may have reached a point where there is nothing within you within conflict. But I don't know that that's a world I exist in. So I think moments of peace are important. I think places of peace are important. But I don't think chasing peace is necessarily the healthiest thing for everyone.
All right. It used to be, it's so funny you said that to me. All right. People say I operate best in place of chaos. All right. Because everybody's going nuts and I'm very calm. All right. And then when I growing up, people said I picked creating chaos. So I would be calm and everybody else would be freaking out. All right. And I think sometimes we use the word peace to mean a bunch of different things.
Right.
At times. Right. Like sometimes peace means control over oneself.
Okay.
Right. Like, and then it's a control. Then it's I have self-control where you could spew whatever you want and I'm not going to lose myself because you're spewing it. Right.
Right. Whereas I think of that as power, but yeah, I hear you.
Right. Right. So that's why I think people use the word to mean different things for each other.
Right.
And I think when we get clear on that terminology and what it means to them, right? It's like success. Success is completely different than everybody else.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like what one deems success, other could think nothing of it. It's like when people are like, Mike, man, you're doing really well. Like you're loaded. And I'm like, dude, Bill Gates thinks I'm broke. Right? Like it all matters who you ask, right? Like it's like the guy down the corner is like, damn, you're killing it. And Bill Gates is saying, damn, you suck at life. Right? Like it's all relative and it's all perspective. Right. But it's like, what does success actually mean to you? What does peace actually mean to you? So then when you bring up these terms and topics, we can actually explain like, this is what I mean when I say power, right? Because a lot of times people look at power like a negative thing. Oh, right. Like, oh, you just want power, right? Like, but it's like, no, I don't want power over everyone. Right. Like that would be different. Right. I want power over me and my life. Right. Like, all right. It's like, so I think what we mean by the word and what it means to us is huge for being able to come together, come to agreement and have progress.
Right. And I think that's the thing is we've lost that ability to communicate that way. And that's what I want to bring back is really being able to describe and explore and discover. And I think that, especially, you go back 40, 50 years and there was very little opportunity to know and see a different point of view. Now we have thousands of different points of view being constantly spewed at us, whether we like it or not. So learning how to navigate an overflood of information is an important skill set. And that's something I also, and I love Jeff's definition. I think that's great. But what I was saying is that we have not naturally been able to sort through and acknowledge how much dynamic how much dynamically different philosophies there are. Common sense has been permanently murdered by the internet. It's permanently murdered. Like, there is no bringing it back to life ever, because there's too many different ideas of what's right, what's wrong, what there is no real authentic common anymore. And so we need to live in an era, learn to live in an era where we have to stop believing common sense can exist. So if we can do that, if we can approach things with, I'm not going to have an expectation that someone knows what I know, understands what I understand, that I basically have to operate with each person as if they're a clean slate, you deal with so many less disappointments. You deal with so much less disappointments because you're not saying, oh, this person doesn't love me because they're not doing A, B, C, and D. You're saying, does this person know how to love me because I receive through A, B, C, and D, and I've communicated it to them? And again, is it someone's not willing to do it, or is it not a skill set for them? Can I find ways and methods for someone to show their care and appreciation within that person's skill set? Can I communicate about something they do that lights me up, that I know they have the skill to offer me, and see how frequently they do that?
Right. So I love this, like research research was done that it was all about presidential elections, right? And it went into, there was only two commonalities between all of the elections in the last 100 plus years, right? The winner had only these two things in common, right? And the two were, they had a futuristic slogan. It was something we could look forward to, right? And the winner spoke at a lower educational level, right? So, and they said they were very surprised about the second one. The second person said, why? It means more people can understand them.
Right.
Right. And it's like, if you speak at a third grader level, that means everybody that ever got to that level and beyond can understand you, right? If you speak at 11th grade level, only people that have got to that level and beyond can understand you. So everybody else, they're like, what? What does that even mean? What do you mean by that? Or they're going to use it in a way that doesn't fit for me.
And using that analogy, the problem is that someone who's maybe, let's say, a college degree assumes everyone can speak at least an 11th grade level. And then that assumption creates conflict, because the person that's speaking at the 11th grade level, even though they're going down a little bit, is offended that that other person's not hearing them. And the person that only hears at a third grade level is offended that someone's talking down to them and insulting them, because they're communicating in that sort of way.
Right. And it's like, so if I'm the speaker and I'm like, why aren't they getting it? I'm like, why don't they get this? Like, come on, it's simple. Right. But what I call that is your Narnia. Right. It's your land that you know of, but they don't know of it. It's right. Like, everybody has, like, when we talk about area of genius, right? Like, everybody has their area of genius, their thing they know. Right. Yep. Like, everybody has it. And I think when you really have mastered that area is when you can take what you know to be, it can get in depth and complex, and right, but also then take that and make it simple, right? And understand how to walk people through the levels of getting to the more complex, the more depth, the more, right? Because you don't pick up a shovel and get to China, right? You pick up a shovel and get a couple inches of dirt. And then you have to do it again and again and again and again. And it gets harder, and you're getting less inches and less time, less up every time you go, because the depth becomes tougher, right?
Yep.
And when we can take that and be like, all right, and I work on that with messaging about and communicating with your business often, because typically, like you're brilliant at what you do. And sometimes when we're so far in the woods, we can't remember what it was like seeing the first couple trees.
Except
Right?
I can,
Right.
and I do.
Right. Most don't.
Right.
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 Most are really into where they are. Right. Not where they have been.
Because they're taught to be ashamed of it, or they are ashamed of it on some level. So they don't look at that. There's a level of internal judgment. I want to go back to something Mary had said, by the way, is about not sounding condescending when you're going to a lower level. Really quick. Because what I personally believe is that someone who's at a lower level, yeah, they may be there at a lower level because they haven't had the opportunity to be at a higher level. Or they may just, in terms of their awareness, their perception, their ability to process information, it may be biological. Like I've met a lot of neurologists that I've connected to, and people that study all sorts of different sciences and things like that. And I've really believed that we are taught everyone can learn. And so when someone isn't learning and isn't growing, we're a lot of people that are helpers will unintentionally talk to them in a condescending way because they believe the person is choosing not to be expansive. And I believe that there may be people that are choosing not to be expansive. There's also a good portion of people that are not choosing it. It's just they're at their permanent neurological ceiling. And so I don't blame them. It's like if you talk to someone who is blind, you're not going to communicate to them with shaming language about not being able to see. And so that's how I operate with not being condescending about where someone is.
I love that. And we're over an hour in, brother.
Yeah, well, us. Do we ever do less than an hour for anything?
Yeah, right now.
We do these? Come on.
Never ever. All right, I would have it no other way either, bro. We should do more of these rather than one a year.
Yes, that actually I completely agree with. We should.
About time, Jesus. All right, but I want one, everybody drop some blue and green hearts in the comment if you like this, if you got something out of it, right? If this was good for you or something you want to see more of and want to see Adam more of, we definitely do. Might and we're already getting them. Look at that. Bam. All right. Bam. Look at that. Bam. Jeez. Oh God. Look at this. And kept people's attention. People here for forever. Adam, you're good at this, bro. Now, trying to get Adam to Nashville. We'll see if it works out. But Adam, in case you are or not, right? Let people know where they can find you and continue this conversation, have more with you about finding and getting clarity in areas of their life.
So let me try and put something in the chat. Oh crap. I'm trying to see if it'll let me, but it's not letting me use here we go. Hold on. Here. So is there any way for that to appear on the
put it in the private one? Here we go. Let me get a copy link address. Maybe I can do it. Let me see if I have any capabilities. Let me see. I think I did it. I know it's on YouTube.
Okay. All right. So I have a Calendly link, and honestly, I know people are wonky about it, but I'm happy to give out my my phone number. So if people want to connect with me, they can text or call 860-805-0482, 860-805-0482. Also, the clearest you, all one line at gmail.com. Basically, if you see my my business name right up there, just erase the spaces and put at Gmail, exactly like that. Although I will say, sadly, I have been known to miss an email or two. So if you If you don't hear back from me within 24 to 48 hours, please resend, because I definitely do try and return the emails that I see pretty quickly.
Nice. And Adam, also you can jump on Facebook into this live into into the video and put whatever you want in there, a link or number or anything.
Okay,
right?
yeah, I'll do that.
To make it easier as well.
Right.
Dude, it's been awesome catching up, hearing more about what you're doing and where you're at, and also hearing more about how brilliant you are, bro. I love it. I could do it all day. If you got one last thing to leave people with, what would you say? What would you leave them with that you think they need to hear?
I would say make sure when you're talking about something that's important to you, make sure you're not minimizing how important it is. A lot of the clients that I work with will present something as a 2 or 3, like out of 10, when it's really an 8 or 9. And then they don't understand why someone's not responding as if it's an 8 or 9. Really make sure you're leaning in with with an accurate, authentic level of importance of how important something is. Because people are only going to react most times to the level at which you show them it is. So it's a big thing. A lot of us don't want to be a burden, don't want to do different things. But if we don't say how important a need is to other people, they're going to assume it's more of a want than a need.
Nice. Just leaving that up there for a minute for you to really see it. Just leaving that comment up there for you to really, really see it.
Yeah, hey, I want to make it happen. I'm
messing with you. Listen, you don't have to say nothing to me. You got to reach out to Jessica. She's going to whoop that. If you don't, remember, she loves conflict. She's the sword. Dude, thank you so much for the time, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm glad you're back stateside. We got to connect more. You don't live that far away. And thank you for all you do, man, for everybody, but also the blue and green, man. We appreciate you and love you, brother.
Thank you. We'll connect again soon. Bye.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year, brother. Literally jumped off the stream. I'm not even done. If we didn't even sign off yet, this dude jumped off. Thank you so much for taking the time listening. Definitely reach out to Adam. He's brilliant, just like everyone is in Unleash You Now, the blue and green. You guys are awesome. Hopefully it was good holidays and Happy New Year. Peace. We're out. Long live the Unleash. You know the deal.